Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. This project is going to be a new bench for my pillar drill. Now, I'm basically going to do it in a similar sort of method of construction that I used for the main workbench, but rather than using the half laps and laminating the 4x2s together, I'm actually going to mortise and tenon it, because hopefully then I can get away with using a little less timber. It's on a workmate at the moment. It's quite flimsy. It's not even bolted down, it's just resting there, so I want to bolt it down, sturdy it all up, and basically use the space underneath for better storage. So stick around, I'll get all these cut to size. Make sure you crank these up tight. You don't want the cutler coming out, and that's speaking the obvious, but it has happened to me once. I got distracted, I didn't tighten it up enough. I thought I had, and the cutter worked loose and flew out. Luckily it didn't hit me. It did hit a window, but it didn't smash it. Okay, well there's all my mortises done, and actually it worked out really well. I wasn't really expecting it not to work at the end of the day. Who's to say that's not a lock rather than a tenon going in there? So all the four pieces are the same, so they'll match up as pairs that way and that way. So I need two for the cross and two for the other way. Okay, so there's my tenons cut. As you can see, they're slightly offset because I basically didn't centre the mortise in the with the timber. I just said I'm going to have a mortise X long. So I've got them roughly the right width and also roughly the right length. Now, obviously, these have got rounded corners on the inside of the mortise and square corners on the shoulders of the tenons. So I'm just going to use a chisel and basically bevel the corners to get them in. Now, obviously I did this on a table saw. I could have used a handheld router going across. I could have used it in a router table, much the same way as I did with the cross-cut sled, with either a sled or a miter gauge right across there. I could have done it on the bandsaw. I could have cut them by hand. There's loads of ways of doing it, and generally people comment, yeah, you could have done it this way, you could have done it that way, and yeah, you could. There's loads of different ways. If you haven't got the tool that I used, to be honest, a single kerf saw blade is not the quickest way of doing it, I have to say. And, this is called a hand chisel for those of you who are more used to electric tools. Basically there's two ends. There's a safe end that you can hit, and there's the dangerous end, which is sharp. If it's not sharp, it's even more dangerous. So yeah, it's great because you can use it in a power cut, which is really handy if you've got a power cut. Of course you can still use it if you haven't got a power cut. It's quite tight. Now you're in my way. There you go. This isn't the chisel, but you don't need power for this either. Well, it goes together. Okay, so I've everything ready. Except for my other rail, which is over here. Ah. So, gluing holes, got all over my bench. Okay, so I was going to put ply, 4mm ply on the side here, but the sheets I've got aren't big enough typically. So what I've done is I've compromised and pulled out this. It's just 4mm. It's MDF, not ideal. So what I've done is I've given it a coat of water-based varnish, grade varnish, just to stop it from soaking up moisture, because condensation and stuff in here, to protect it. So I've used 12mm OSB, or I think it's 15mm actually, OSB on the back, and I've put a little lip on the back to stop things rolling off the back of the blind mortices are pegged in the end, and as you saw me cut, and I've wedged the through mortices on all four corners. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that for probably about an hour, maybe a bit less with this heat. Okay, I've taken the pillar drill off the old stand, put it on its new stand, and I'm loving this height. This is really much more me. I've taken the table off and swiveled this out of the way, and I'm going to mount it on a piece of 18mm ply on top and a piece of 18mm MDF underneath. And this is actually just the jigsaw cut out from the table saw stand, but from the previous video. If you watched that video, if you haven't seen it. The reason I'm going to do that is because this is an old fire door. It's not solid inside. It's actually got these holes that run all the way. Last thing I want to do is have one of the bolts going through there and squashing the door. So hopefully with the ply either side, it'll give it a little bit of more surface area to bear down on. I can still crank it up tight, but hopefully without the possibility of the door squashing together when I crank it up. Downside of course is I'm going to need some slightly longer bolts, but whoop-de-doo. That's the stand basically done now. It's just had a fresh coat of varnish on the top of this old door. All that I really need to do now is trim the edge. I've got the drill press, pillar drill, whatever you want to call it, bolted onto the top there through, as I described. I've used 150mm by M10 bolts on there, so it's quite it's 4 of those. So it's quite sturdy. It's not going anywhere. What I think I'm going to do now, I've been playing around with the drill bits and drill a lot more in the last few days. I've noticed that the head had swiveled out of alignment, and also, although you probably can't see it, if you've watched any of my other videos, you've probably noticed that the top cover sits open. I just did a little bit of a readjustment on there, and partly down to Steve, because you might have seen his latest mere mini just happened to be on the pillar drill, so kind of tied in quite nicely with what I was doing. So if you haven't seen it, go and watch Steve Ramsey's latest mere mini. That's 2 minutes, quite interesting. I watched again Mortice's video on the underbed storage that he made with the roller skate wheels, and I thought that would be perfect for this little space under here. Also I'm going to put probably a tiny little drawer in the top, because I've still got a couple of inches gap between the top of my belt disc sander and here, and I only need it small because it's only going to put drill bits and stuff in. So I've got a drawer, under trolley drawer skateboardy thing, and then trim it off, and it's done. But it's all sturdy and it's usable now. I might put a door on it as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and any comments, feedback, let me know, but keep it polite. So we'll see you again next time.